Hey, welcome back. I was walking through Lower Manhattan the other day, right near my apartment, and I passed this massive construction site. They're digging down, maybe 4 or 5 stories deep, putting in a new foundation. And I just stopped for a minute, watching the excavators scoop out earth. It made me think, what if they hit something? What if, under all that concrete and rebar, there's a piece of old New York just waiting to be found? A tavern from the 1700s, a colonial well, something that tells a story we'd forgotten. That feeling, that thrill of the past lying just beneath our feet, that's exactly what happened in London. But what they found wasn't a tavern. It was a dream, a poem, a revolution. They found a theater. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is The Great Conversation. Today, we're talking about Shakespeare's lost Playhouse, the archaeology of the Rose Theatre. Now, when we think of Shakespeare in London, we think of the Globe, that beautiful, reconstructed octagon on the South Bank. But the Globe had an older, scrappier, more influential sibling, the Rose, built in 1587 by a shrewd businessman named Philip Henslowe, whose detailed account book, his diary, is a treasure trove for historians. The Rose was the first successful, purpose-built theater on the Bankside. This was the district outside the city walls, a place of bear-baiting pits, taverns, and brothels. And right there, amidst the mud and the mischief, theater became a commercial powerhouse. This is where Christopher Marlowe's star blazed with plays like Dr. Faustus. And by the early 1590s, this is where a young William Shakespeare, new to London, saw his early works performed. Titus Andronicus, Henry VI. The Rose was his first professional home. But time moved on. Newer, fancier theaters like the Globe and the Fortune were built. By 1606, the Rose was closed, dismantled, and forgotten. Its exact location faded into legend, buried under centuries of London's growth. Fast forward to 1988. A development company plans a new office block on a site in Southwark, right along the Thames. Standard procedure called for an archaeological survey, and the archaeologists from the Museum of London began to dig. They expected maybe some medieval pottery. What they found, just a few feet down, was the ghost of a stage. The first thing they hit was the mortar, a strange, pinkish mortar made with crushed brick and lime. And then, the foundation walls, forming a distinct polygon. The shape was wrong for a house, or a tavern. The dimensions were perfect for an Elizabethan playhouse. They had, against all odds, found the Rose. And this is where our story shifts from historical record to something almost magical. Because archaeology stops being about dates and stones and becomes about human experience. The team, led by archaeologists who understood the magnitude of the find, started to map it out. And the Rose began to tell its secrets. The first surprise was its shape. We picture these theaters as perfect circles, like the Globe. But the Rose's foundations revealed a 14-sided polygon, a sort of bulging circle. It was smaller than we thought, intimate. The stage, they found, was off-center. And the yard, where the groundlings stood, sloped distinctly toward the stage. Now, think about that from an engineer's perspective, which, I have to admit, is my default setting. That slope isn't an accident. That's brilliant design. That's drainage. When it rained, the water would run away from the stage toward the outer walls. But also that's sight lines. The people at the back, for their penny, could still see the action. This was a space engineered for visibility and acoustics, long before microphones. Then they found the artifacts. Not grand things, but profoundly human ones. A single, crushed ceramic money box, the kind used to collect entrance fees. A token that might have been a theater admission check. But most hauntingly, they found the remains of rose-pink plaster and tiny, sparkling fragments of crushed mussel shells mixed into the floor surface of the yard. Can you imagine that? Standing in the yard, the air thick with the smell of the Thames and sweat and excitement, and the very ground beneath your feet is glittering. The stage, lit by afternoon light or flickering torches, is literally set upon a surface of crushed pearl. It was a space of deliberate, gritty enchantment. And this discovery sparked one of the most dramatic cultural battles in modern London history. The developers had a legal right to build. The archaeologists in a swiftly assembled coalition of actors, writers, and public figures, led by the legendary Peggy Ashcroft and a then unknown actor named Patrick Stewart, demanded they stop. They staged protests, readings of Shakespeare on the muddy site. They argued that this was hallowed ground, the birthplace of modern English drama. For months, the fate of this muddy hole hung in the balance. It was a conversation, a great and urgent one, about what we value. Is it profit, or is it memory? Is it a new office block, or the physical proof of our collective imagination? In the end, a compromise was reached. The development was redesigned. The office block was built, but on giant concrete pillars that straddled the site. The Rose's foundations were preserved in situ, covered in a special sand and waterproof membrane, and reburied, safe and waterlogged, beneath the new building. Today, you can sometimes see them through a glass panel in the floor of the lobby above. It's a strangely moving sight, a modern office foyer, and beneath your feet, the shadow of a stage where Marlowe and Shakespeare walked. For me, as a storyteller and an engineer, the Rose is the ultimate meeting point of my two worlds. It's a lesson in materiality. History isn't just ideas in books. It's pink mortar and sloping gravel and mussel shell glitter. It's the pragmatic solution to a drainage problem that also, accidentally, creates a better experience for the apprentice standing in the rain. It reminds me that the greatest human creations, whether a play, a startup, or a theater, are always this blend of visionary art and practical, on-the-ground problem-solving. Philip Henslowe wasn't just a patron of the arts. He was a project manager. He kept that diary not just for posterity, but for accounts receivable. The Rose Theater's archaeology did something remarkable. It gave a body to a ghost. It turned the abstract genius of Shakespeare's age into something tangible, something we could measure, map, and stand upon. It proved that sometimes the most profound conversations with the past don't happen in a library. They happen in a construction site, in the quiet analysis of soil stains and crushed plaster. They happen when we look down and realize we are standing, quite literally, on the foundations of a dream. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Great Conversation. If this journey into the muddy, glittering world of the Rose resonated with you, please do share the show with a friend who loves history, stories, or the hidden layers beneath our cities. For more episodes like this, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. This show is produced by Light Knot Studios. You can find more of our work and support independent storytelling by visiting us at lightknotstudios.com. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi. Until next time, keep listening and keep digging.